welcome to Dustino Covers the Beatles. This is going to be my first episode. I'm very excited to get started with a new channel here. And got a great topic to start out with, thanks to Beatley Tone. I'll put a link to his video in the description here. So do check his channel out, it's a great channel. But he's got a competition contest going on right now, talking about your most cherished Beatles memorabilia or item. And when I first started watching his video on that the other day, immediately my mind went to the 2009 stereo box set. I've always told people in passing, if they ever see my collection, this is one of my most cherished items, not just my most cherished Beatles item, but literally probably one of my most cherished items in any of my possessions. Just the fact that you got all the Beatles albums in one place. Whether the mixes are the best right now or not, that's up for debate, but still the packaging and everything, I've always been in love with it since I got it. But that's the story for another time, because what hit me is he did mention about ticket stubs to concerts and shows, and as soon as he said that, I got thinking about a particular ticket stub that I got, and it is to the Beatles Cirque du Soleil Love in Las Vegas. Hopefully you can see it good there. Cool picture of the Mirage behind there. The Love logo with the guys hanging out there. And of course, big part of the story is that seat. Anyways, there's the ticket, and let's get into the story. So I had been at that time, mid-2000s, late 2000s, always been into the Beatles. I really got into them middle school and through high school. This is my soundtrack for that time of my life. But I did start exploring some other artists and that, and I did get into the Jimi Hendrix experience pretty strong there for a while, and had really been focusing on them. Always was looking at the Hendrix estate, had a new release out. Always was out for a new DVD. Almost every week I was in Best Buy picking something up, and hadn't really been paying attention to the Beatles, but if I ever saw something new when I'd go into Best Buy of the Beatles, that was definitely always something I would pick up. So go in November of 2006 and was surprised to see this wonderful item sitting on the shelves. The CD for the soundtrack for the Cirque du Soleil show. First I thought it was just some compilation of the Beatles and didn't know much about it. I'd heard about Cirque du Soleil but didn't know a ton about them. Got the album, started listening to it, and was like, wow, that's really different. I was really into it though, because I thought it was really cool, the breakdown of the songs and mixing them together and all that. I'd always been fascinated with sound engineering. Was a career path I kind of thought about for a while. And just, other things happened and I didn't go that route, but still would be something I'd love to get into. But anyways, I thought that was really cool how the Martins got George and his son mixed that together, and really fell in love with it. And then 2008, the documentary came out, the All You Need Is, or All Together Now documentary, and I picked this up probably on one of my runs to grab the latest movie on DVD, and check out other media, being how much I love physical media. But anyways, I picked this up and watched it and really enjoyed it. Thought it looked like a really fun show. And about a year later, I'm planning a trip to Las Vegas. A few of my friends decided we were going to go to Vegas. Really go see if we could have a good time there, check it out. I'm not much of a gambler, so I was trying to figure out, okay, well, what am I going to do there? And I got looking at the show aspect of it, thinking that was what sounded like a fun thing for me to do. Kept asking them, hey, let's go see the Blue Man Group, let's go see Penn and Teller. Everything I brought up to them, they turned down. Now, in the back of my mind, I knew Cirque du Soleil Love was there, and I knew I was going to it. I didn't care if they were going with me or not. I was going to say, hey, see you guys later. I'm going to go check this out. So I asked them on that too, just by chance, and found out my one buddy that was coming with me, my buddy Mike, he was, yeah, oh yeah, I'll definitely go to that with you, he said. And I was pretty happy about that. Found out he was big into, I'd always known him into like top 40 pop music. Never knew him really to be into the Beatles, so questioned him on that. Are you a Beatles fan? He said, no, I'm a fan of, the 60s era music and stuff. We had a great oldies station in our town for a long time, and he had listened to that when he was a kid too. Part of what got me into, all this music. But anyways, him and I kind of reminisced on that radio station, and we got talking about that. And that was his whole reason for wanting to go to that too. But anyways, we almost didn't get these wonderful tickets. We did, we kind of planned that we would go to this about midway through our trip. So we were supposed to go pick up the tickets at the box office whenever we got a chance. And you couldn't pick them up. I think it was 2 hours before the show started. After that point, you couldn't pick them up anymore. I guess you just kind of forfeited them. Just with all the happenings and goings on when we got there, not realizing the enormity of Las Vegas, and just everything going on, looked like where we were staying at the Flamingo wasn't that far from the Mirage, but for some reason we never made it, that Vegas block and a half over to the Mirage from the Flamingo at that point. The day of the show, we were planning to go to the Hoover Dam, so we had left for the Hoover Dam that morning, and we're there for a good chunk of the day. On the way out there, it wasn't too bad. We got right out to go see the sights there and everything. And on the way back, however, there was a lot of traffic. So we got stuck in traffic. I mean, not even near the strip, we were stuck in traffic, just coming into the city limits. And we're trying to get through that. We were planning to go back to our hotel, go get changed, and then go pick up the tickets and just putz around the Mirage there and check it out. Unfortunately, due to the traffic, it ended up having to be, okay, well, we're just running in, getting our tickets, going back to the hotel quick and just changing quick then and going back to the Mirage. So we ended up doing that, got our tickets, went and got changed fast, and got into the show. Now Mike had some allergies going and some pain and stuff, so he had taken, I think it was Allegra D, an ibuprofen, and I think some Dayquil. So a little bit of a over-the-counter medicine cocktail there he had going already. And on top of that, we were both thirsty when we got to the show. I went for a bottle of water because there was no way I was drinking alcohol at this point, because I could tell I was dehydrated, and I was not going to add to that by having alcohol. Mike, however, decided they had these big cups of cocktails there. He got some drink in one of those cups, which I'm wondering if he still got that, because I remember it was love themed and Beatles themed, and would be cool to see again. I don't really remember it much, and I'm not sure if he kept it. But I'll have to find out from him after he sees this. But anyways, he gets drinking that with his drugs there. At the same time that this was happening, well, I'll talk about getting to our seats first. Got down to our seats, not even knowing I bought these off of Vegas.com, which was really big then. They did not have where you select your seat like you do nowadays. It was just pretty much, do you want the more expensive ticket or the less expensive ticket? And we went for the more expensive. Didn't tell us our section, didn't tell us our seats, nothing. Didn't know until we picked them up. So I picked them up, saw, section 106, row C, seat 1. Mike had seat 2. I was pretty familiar with the layout of the theater because I thought it was pretty cool with the theater in the round, and from seeing it on the documentary, I knew there were kind of wedge sections in that. 106 happens to be one of the wedge sections. So row C is actually, I believe, the best row in that row. Probably D and E probably wouldn't be too bad either, but A and B, probably you would not want those tickets. You're below the stage, so you're looking up. I don't know. I don't think you'd enjoy the show as much. C, we were head level with the stage. Well, shoulder level, I should say. Our heads were just above the stage, so we're looking flat out onto the stage. And it was great. We were right by one of the main platforms where the performers would come out. I know there's one scene where they got some rain jackets on. They were kind of spinning as they walked by, and I could feel the zipper from the rain jacket hit the side of my cheek there. We were that close to the action. The other thing too, when they're doing the help section, they're on the rollerblades, going up and down on the ramps there. The one ramp was literally, I'm looking up at him as he was up in the air. If he would have fallen, he would have been right on my lap. But it was quite an experience getting that close. There was only 4 seats in our row. The couple that was next to us, I don't think quite appreciated Mike and I being there. You know, we're bebopping in our jeans and our t-shirts, and probably smelling all sweaty from being Hoover Dam all morning. And these two looked like they definitely were like some high rollers, probably got comped the tickets. We're a little when we walked in, but whatever. Hey, we were there to have fun. We were Beatles fans, or at least I was a Beatles fan. Fans of the music, at least. And we were there to have a good time. So it didn't matter what they thought. But anyways, yeah. So we were kind of shocked about the tickets at the seats. And Mike had taken this little cocktail of over-the-counter pills and a cocktail. And the movie Knocked Up had been out right around that time and been pretty popular. And I think it had just came out on home video, DVD, and I think it was just released on HBO right around that time too. And we kept asking Mike if he had seen it, because the big joke with us going to a Cirque du Soleil show, I think the shrooms are turning on me, man, scene from that. So we kept quoting that with him, and anyways, he's got this cocktail of legal drugs going in his system, and at one point of the show, he turns to me and he goes, "Man, I know this is really psychedelic and trippy, but I really feel weird." And I looked at him, I said, Mike, look back at me again. And he looks back at me, and his eyes were just, his pupils were, there was no iris anymore. It was just pupil. And I said, "Dude, you're stoned." And he starts laughing. He says, "That makes sense, I guess." and him and I are chuckling about that for the rest of the show, the rest of the night, the rest of the trip. But anyways, that show that night, we're right about to the scene in Octopus's Garden, and there's a sheet that comes over, make you feel like you're underwater. Comes right over your head, and I knew for sure we were going to get covered by this thing, being that we were, 3 rows in. And I knew it was coming. I had seen it in the documentary. Mike, I don't think, knew. This thing comes flying over our heads, and Mike, I think the music got a little quiet at one point too, and it happened to be the point that he decided to say this to me. He turns to me and goes, "I think the Dayquil's turned on me, man." So, anyways, we enjoyed the rest of the show. Really had a good time leaving the theater that night. Mike probably had a much better time than even me. I remember we found a really cool high-end burger place and went and got a burger and a spiked milkshake. So finally I got my alcohol in there. But he had picked up a copy of the CD in the gift store as we were leaving. And we listened to that in the rental car for the rest of the trip. He almost left it in the rental car. When we were checking it at the airport, it hit me, and I popped it out of the CD player right before he turned in the keys and handed it to him. But yeah, quite a story, quite a thing. That point really, with how enthused Mike got into the music, he really loved the Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds mix, with the Tomorrow Never Knows sound effects in there. He got quite a kick out of that. And I started really listening to the Beatles again, and I didn't even realize, yeah, this was definitely a turning point, but looking at the date, we were only 6 days away from the 999 box set. Not even realizing now until literally when I started filming this that those dates correlated quite close. Pretty much I had got home from Vegas and was going and picking that up at Best Buy. Now that's a different story though, like I said, so that will be one day. I will tell that story. I did have it pre-ordered, but everything got messed up, so I didn't get it on 999. But yeah, that's crazy. I always knew this was a pivotal point, but because of that, really listening to the music and that, seeing how Mike got so into it, with how he was hearing those different elements in Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds and the other songs, and really wanted to delve into the Beatles music again. And obviously getting the box set, just a few days later, really got me back into the Beatles, and I have been, just a massive fan ever since. Pretty much all I've listened to. After that point too, I started getting into the solo careers, which I hadn't before, which I'm really shocked. And massive Paul McCartney fan now. Not just, the Beatles. And, yeah, so it was really a turning point for me. And I think that really makes me reflect pretty strong on that little piece of memorabilia there. Another little piece of memorabilia I got from the show that day. This was my pickup in the gift store. Cool little Beatles love shot glass. I kind of here and there collect shot glasses on my travels. And I picked that up for just a little something to have, to remember it just besides the ticket and my great story on it. Hopefully that came across as fun as it was for me. I guess everybody out there, if anybody sees this, share your story on this too. This has been really fun thinking about it and talking about it, and this is part of why I want to make the channel, because I want to hear your stories too. I got friends that are into the music, but not maybe as much as me, so it'd be cool to, have a little chat with some fellow Beatles nerds out there. The other thing now, I'm going to kind of cut that off on my response to Beatley Tone. So, hope you had fun listening to that one. And again, I will be putting your link to your video in my description here. But yeah, I just want to do kind of a little intro to my channel, since we're going to get started on that. Not only about the Beatles, we'll be focused on the Beatles, but mainly on the media, as you can see here. The vinyl's all behind me there. And then, but also on, we're going to talk about the Beach Boys, Jimi Hendrix Experience, any other bands. One of my next videos I'm going to do, I already got planned, a little unboxing of a recent release. Not the Beatles or Beach Boys or Jimi Hendrix Experience, but it is Beach Boys related, so that will be coming out soon. And you'll see on that one when that comes out. Also, I plan on doing some album rankings. That's going to be one of my next ones too, for sure. The Beatles albums. That'll be one of my very next ones after that other video. And then another series I got planned, kind of a series I'm going to do kind of along the way. I'm going to do a What If series. Also a Star Wars and Marvel fan. Got into the concept of the What If from Marvel on Disney Plus there, and started thinking of that with all the talk that's always out there with what's the next Paul McCartney archive release, what's the next Beatles Super Deluxe anniversary set. So we'll delve into a few of those type of topics. I've got some other ideas besides those two, some pretty cool ones coming up. I'm not going to say much more past that. Just check out the videos when they drop. Other than that, I will be signing off, and good to see you, and glad to be here. We'll talk to you all later. Bye.